From the incredibly popular show The Mandalorian, to Obi-Wan Kenobi, to the most recent Skeleton Crew, there have been a good number of different miniseries and shows which delve further into the Star Wars universe. But among all of these, there is only one in particular which has stood out to me, and which I was interested in returning to for a second viewing. Hello, and welcome back to another installment of Film Friday, in which I review a new film every single week. This week we're looking at the 2022 series entitled Andor Season 1, created by Tony Gilroy and starring Diego Luna and Stellan Skarsgård. Let's get into it. I recently finished rewatching the first season of Andor. It was my third time watching it, and I was struck once again by how far above the other Disney Plus shows it seemed to stand. There are a number of reasons why I think this is the case, and which I think the directors of these Star Wars shows would do well to take note of for future endeavors. First of all, and this is more of a general point, I found that this show succeeded in immersing the viewer in the world of Star Wars in a much more realistic and relatable way. The story was about individual nobodies, people who were living and dying on the outskirts of the Empire with few to remember them, and everything felt darker and grittier than something like The Mandalorian. Andor himself was not a hero or an idealist, although his character did change and improve as the story went on. The story also followed Dedra Meero, an ISB agent, who, although she later became more ruthless and cruel, initially just helped to present a more personal look at the operatives of the Empire. People who were just doing their job without necessarily stopping to consider if their job was something they should be doing. Secondly, this show wasn't overloaded with fan-servicing references and cameos. Yes, Andor himself was a repeat character, and stormtroopers did show up somewhere around the middle of the show, but the majority of the characters were individuals that the audience had never seen before. There was no mention of Yoda or Anakin or anything like that, although there were enough references and callbacks to previously established parts of the universe that it still felt like it was taking place in the same world, which seems to me to be the perfect balance. The score was fantastic, haunting and inspiring, and perfectly setting the mood for many scenes. It is one of those soundtracks which I keep on constant rotation in my film and I suppose television score playlist. And the main title theme also changed slightly episode to episode, which certainly kept things interesting. The writing was also very well done, with some moments in particular standing out, such as Luthen's compelling speech towards the end of the show. And Luthen himself was a particularly interesting character, because as a whole, his motivations were quite good, but as an individual, he was imperfect and flawed, something which he was fully prepared to recognize. The structure and format of Andor is another aspect of the show which I think other projects would do well to mimic. Instead of each episode containing its own mini-narrative arc, these smaller arcs were spread out over 3 to 4 episodes, and these were all contained within a much larger and longer story. This in particular helped Andor feel much more like a mini-series than just another TV show. It also meant that the story could be much more thoroughly fleshed out and well-developed. Even characters who were just passing through lasted long enough for you to get to know who they were and something about what drove them. Kino Loy is a prime example of this, played by the remarkable Andy Serkis. Overall, Andor clearly set itself apart as a much higher caliber production than the other shows which I've seen Disney Plus produce over the past few years. I would give this show a solid 8 out of 10. Definitely comment below what you thought of Andor if you've seen it, and if you have not, then I would recommend going to watch it and then coming back to let me know what you think. With that being said, thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more movie and TV commentary and reviews.